radio, glowing magic transistor radio, glowing magic transistor radio.
Hello YouTube and YouTubettes. Welcome to an album review. I have a very special formula I like to use to make grades, so you'll hear decimals and other weird things. I'm not going to give away my formula, but in this video I would like to review the Bodies of Water album Ears Will Pop and Eyes Will Blink. This was released on January 22nd, 2008. It was mixed by Adam Siegel in 2006, mastered by Pete Lyman at Infrasonic Mastering. The members include husband and wife David and Meredith Metcalf, Jessica Conklin, and Kyle Gladden. And there are other musicians that perform with them on stage. They're from California. All songs written by Bodies of Water and lyrics by David Metcalf. So that's some information about them. There's no Wikipedia page, so I had to gather this information from a few different websites and from the sleeve on the album. This music is very interesting. I think I discovered them at Good Records. They're very unique, very upbeat, and they might even be a Christian group. There seems to be some hints of that in the vein of the Danielson Family or something. Kind of a more artistic, alternative, but Christian group, perhaps, but I haven't found that confirmed anywhere. The album cover is a photo taken by Chase Roden. It's a cool picture of the band, almost black and white with a greenish tint to it. I think it's a really cool picture, and I give it a 9 out of 10. Now on to the songs.
Our friends appear like the dawn, a flock of sheep.
The first song is Our Friends Appear Like the Dawn. This is a very powerful song. It has a very unique structure, and it has lyrically perhaps the most biblical type lyrics on the album, and the reason why I think they might be Christian or at the very least religious. And this is a very good song, very catchy, also very interesting and artistic, well produced, and I give it an 8.6 out of 10.
These are the eyes, these are the eyes of my eyes.
The next song is These Are the Eyes, and this is another musically powerful song. It almost has hints of some kinds of praise and worship music, but with alternative kind of arrangements and things that are a little different. And it's also good across the board. It's artistic as well, good lyrics, well produced. Not quite as good as the first song in my opinion, but I give it an 8.2 out of 10. The next song is called It Moves, and it starts out with kind of a folky type vocals and then kind of gets into this repetitive thing. And this one is my least favorite song on the album. It's not very catchy. It's somewhat artistic. I mean, it's got some very interesting things on it. The lyrics aren't, there's very few lyrics that are repeated a lot, so the lyrics don't do as well either. And it's not the best produced song on the album, but artistically there's some really good stuff here. But other than that, not much. And I give this one a 6.4 out of 10.
Dear, when I touch your face.
The next song is called I Guess I'll Forget the Sound, I Guess. This one is one of my favorite songs on the album. It's got a beautiful melody at the beginning, and then it builds towards the chorus, which is really powerful. So it's got these soft verses and this really powerful up-tempo kind of chorus with interesting arrangements. And it's got really good lyrics, very poetic, and also a hook. And overall, I give this one a 9.2 out of 10.
I heard it sound from the valleys low. I heard it.
The next song is called I Heard It Sound. This starts out very beautifully. I like the verses. It's a little slower and not quite as catchy as some of them, but it's still very artistic. I think when it gets to the chorus, it's a little off to me. I'm not a big fan of the chorus, but the verses are beautiful. And lyrically, it's very poetic, but it's not the most accessible lyrics in my opinion. And I think it's a little bit less on the production side, mainly because of that chorus. But I give this one an 8.0 out of 10. The next song is called Doves Circled the Sky, and this is another one of my more favorite songs on the album. It's very dynamic, has a very powerful opening, and good arrangement. And this is just a very solid lyrics, good poetic lyrics, and overall I give this one an 8.8 out of 10.
There will be someone who will come.
The next song is called Roar, 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 and this is a very beautiful song. It's a little less catchy, but well, it's still very catchy. It starts out slow, but it's beautiful, and then it picks up later in the song, and very good, very, very good song. And I give this one an 8.8 out of 10. The next song is called Here Comes My Hand, and this is a very solid song, and there's something lacking, and I'm not sure exactly what it is. On my scoring, I have it a little bit down on the artistic side and a little bit more on the catchiness side, and lyrically it doesn't pull me in that much, and the production I have talked a little bit. But even saying that though, there's some interesting things about this song. The way that they sing and the melodies are just strange. So even saying all that, it's very solid. It just doesn't pull me in as much as many of the others. And I give this one a 7.6 out of 10. The next song is called We Will Be Apart. This has a very powerful beginning, but it's a little too repetitive for me. That would be my only complaint, but it is an sound, and then when he sings, he's got this great kind of baritone bass voice, pretty good, and then I love the organ that comes in later in the song. I think this is a good artistic piece, and I really do like it, except that it's a little too repetitive. I give this one an 8.4 out of 10. The next song is called It Is Familiar, and this one starts out kind of with these weird noises and then gets into this really powerful music. I love it, and then when the vocals come in, it's these very eccentric and interesting vocal arrangements, and I think it's just an awesome song. Very high on the artistic side, but it's also very catchy as well. Lyrics are pretty good, and then I love when it gets to, I guess you could call it the bridge, but it's kind of the same melody but on an organ and more soft, so it's a good change of pace. But I love this song. It's a great song. I give it an 8.8 out of 10. The next song is called We Coughed Up Honey, and this one is fantastic. It starts out a little more basic with some guitar sounds, which, it's not very basically played, but for this group, it's just, what you'd expect on a rock and roll record compared to what most of these songs are. And then it gets into this melody that's really, it's pretty good. It's, once again, that echo with the men singing and the women, but very fast and very interesting. But my favorite part of this song is this the second melody that's more eerie sounding, and it's really beautiful. And that's the best part of the song in my opinion. Also, the lyrics are really good. I have a high score on the lyrical poetry, and it's also got a bit of a hook. So everything else besides the lyrics is a perfect 10, but the lyrics I gave a 7 and a 9. 7 for the hook and 9 for the poetry. But overall, this song does really good. I give it a 9.2 out of 10. The next song is called I Turned My Face, and this one has a fantastic violin at the beginning, and then it goes into this great organ sound. As I've said times before, I'm a sucker for the organ. I just love that part. And then it gets into this more basic folk rock kind of thing, and it's good. It's good rock, but more basic. And then it gets back into the great sound of the organ and stuff. So I really do love this song. I don't think it didn't get a 10 on anything, so the score isn't going to be as high, but there's several 9s on here. And I give this one an 8.0 out of 10. The final song is called We Are Coexisters, and this one has a nice accordion sound. I think that's what it is at the very beginning, and then it gets into this more powerful, dynamic kind of music. And I think this song has some sections to it. So it's got a section that's kind of the chorus, where it kind of begins with the title in the music, and then it gets into this softer kind of folk thing with a female voice, and then some other interesting sounds throughout. So it's nice in that regard that there's a lot of interesting sections to it. I don't think any of the sections in particular stand out to me. There's this instrumental section after the female singer sings that's really pretty, but gets back into the main chorus part. But overall, this song gets an 8.2 out of 10. The album flow is a 10 out of 10. I think they did a really good job. It's very consistent throughout the kind of sound that they do. And it's a very unique sound, as I said before. So I'll give it 10 out of 10 for the flow. Overall, this album is great. It's a unique sound. I believe that I discovered it, as I said before, at Good Records. I don't know how to describe this sound. It's kind of almost gospel, but with indie rock mixed in with it. Kind of in the vein of Danielson Family, Polyphonic Spree, and Sufjan Stevens, but they have their own kind of uniqueness to it. So now I will pull out my handy dandy computer and calculate my formula. And this album gets an 8.48 out of 10. Thank you and have a wonderful day.